everyone! I have a full plant care day ahead of me. I have to restock my shop because I haven't put up any listings in the whole month of June. So it is about time because otherwise I can't sell anything. My plant to-do list is still endless as always. And I also need to pot up a lot of cuttings and take a few new propagations to keep some stock for the future months. Let's go. First, let's pick out the plants for the photo shooting, or aka the plants that are ready for sale, that are all grown in and pretty. I've got about half of my propagations on this table, the rest is in the shelf. So let's start picking. I also want to answer a few more Q&A questions. So first one is from the hobby desk. How do you match the demand of plants only from your propagations? The easy answer is I don't. I just sell whatever I have. I don't specifically cut my plants for sale most of the times. I just propagate whatever I have available, or plants that I just want to restart or shorten a little bit. So sometimes I have plants that are in more demand, sometimes I have plants that might be in less demand. It all depends on, well, what I propagated the last few months. Moving on to the shelf, let's pick out a few plants from here as well. This one for sure. Down here I also have a few that are probably ready. Okay. Yep. While we are at it, I want to answer another question from Fabienne Pradel. How do you arrive to keep your cuttings in winter? Thanks for your channel. I like to see your fun videos. A, super sweet, thank you. And B, this is pretty much it. I have some grow lights in here. It's nice and warm. It creates a nice humid micro environment. Since there's so many propagations and cuttings, it just works really well to root them in here. In winter, it might be a little bit tricky to keep cuttings or to even root cuttings in water, for example. So having a grow light or a nice warm cozy environment for your plants will definitely help. Now, these are all the plants that I intend on selling today. Wash them down a little bit if they are dirty, and then we can get right into the photo shooting. Ta-da! Beautiful! That is a beautiful tray of planties. I'm trying out something new today because my knees are hurting, and apparently I am an almost 30-year-old lady. I just need to do stuff standing up and not sitting on the ground. So we're going to try and prop everything up on the table today. Okie-doo. And now I need my camera. I need to propagate the Philodendron micans that is behind me. It's getting really long. Let me show you. Just look at this. I can almost reach the camera with this. It's growing up the wooden beam in my house, which is really cool. And then now it's growing back down again and just hanging around. So we're going to chop it. Yeah. Just look at this madness. All of this is one vine. And the aerial roots on this one, also crazy. Look at this. I'm just going to chop these into little single node cuttings with a node, a leaf and some aerial roots, and then just chop left and right. No big deal. Like so. The leaves are actually quite big. We've got some serious internodal spacing. There's so much stem between the nodes. These noodles are all trash. This will be the only propagation today. I would love to know if you guys air layer your plants before propagation as well. I'm a big fan of that because it just heightens the success rate, I feel like. Now I'm just sticking all of these in water. Water propagation is most of the times the best and easiest way to propagate plants. Ta-da! These are all of the propagations. In my experience, Philodendron micans always goes really well in the shop, and since it grows so well, I almost always have some propagations to sell as well. Moving on to potting. Ah yes. Perfection. Let's start with something easy. I have a Philodendron Alocasia Frydek here, and this one was rooting in perlite for a while now. And I hope that this time I can finally pot it up. My goodness, perlite everywhere. Love that. And as always, I'm going to use the airite mix for all my Philodendron from Botanica. I am partnering with them, but they also just make great soil substrates. Nice and chunky. There's some perlite in there, cocoa chips, activated charcoal, worm castings, which I love because I would put that in my own soil mix as well. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, baby. That's nice. Okay, all done. Moving on with some Philodendron Splendid cuttings. I've been rooting in water for a while now, so let's check these out. Oh, and we got one big Hoya obovata in here as well. Oh my goodness, that has great roots. It even flowered while it was a cutting. Just great. Hoya obovata can recommend roots like a charm. For this, I'm going to use the Hoya mix because Botanica has a substrate mix for almost any type of plant you can imagine, which is great. So you don't have to think about what is best for your plants. Someone else did the thinking. Great. I don't want to talk about it. God damn it. After cleaning up the mess I made, let's check out this soil. Getting out my pots for the shop. Ooh. This is going to be my potted up cutting. Let's check out these Hoya cuttings. We have a few good roots on here, but I think I want to keep them a little while longer. Now, finally, moving on with the Philodendron Splendid cuttings. Let's check out these roots. Looks pretty promising. I've got 2, 4, 8, 9, 10 cuttings. Most of them already have a new shoot and new leaves growing, even though the root system isn't the biggest. This one seems to have a better root system and some new growth. We're back to the airite mix. If you were wondering if pre-mixed soil isn't much more expensive than if you mix your own soil, I did the math and my own mix costs me $1.25 per liter. The mix from Botanica costs €1.66. So yes, it's a little more expensive, but just think about it. You save so much time, storage and effort mixing your own soil, buying all the stuff, especially if you're not into mixing your own soil anyways. This is not a paid promotion, but I have an affiliate link down in the description, and if you want to check out their website or soil for yourself, you can go ahead, click the link and use my code LEAFY if you decide to buy something. It's 10% off. You're welcome. Now enough about the soil, let's talk business again, because we got another question from Annie Hutt. How do you see the future of houseplant collectors and the market? Also, what is your goal with YouTube? So let's start with the first part of the question. The houseplant collectors and the houseplant market. Now it's quite simple. Houseplant collectors have been around for decades now, and I don't think they're going to go away anytime soon. Sure, the total amount of collectors might fluctuate a little bit. As seen in COVID times, there were so much more plant parents in this time. So yeah, I don't really worry about the houseplant collectors going away. Dare I say, I might even think that it's only going to go up in the future. It's almost a little sad, but I think houseplants are sort of a status symbol now. There's going to be more people buying into the status symbol game. That is not necessarily a good thing. And as for the market, I think there's always new plants, especially in the variegated realm, the nurseries and TC labs are always working on something new and pretty. So I don't think the plant market is going to go stale. There's always people moving, there's students, there's new plant parents, there's people who lost their entire houseplant collection to a big fucking thrips infestation. So I really don't worry that there's not going to be anyone to buy my plants anymore. Ooh, hell yeah. Okay, really good. I'm going to keep growing these out a little bit before I put them out for sale. In a few months, they will probably be ready. Next up, let's continue with these beautiful Scindapsus pictus exotica cuttings. This is the only Scindapsus that I find really easy to root. It roots fast and well, and it also acclimates well to the soil afterwards. So check these roots. Nice, right? And I'll answer the second part of the question. What is my goal with YouTube? This is, not gonna lie, a pretty deep question. So what do I want with YouTube? I don't know. First up, I'm just a YouTube girly. I watched YouTube my whole teenage adult life. So it's really near to me, really close. And one day I finally had this cool new hobby and something worthy to share. So I decided to try it. And I think in the beginning it was more like, oh, I'm just going to do it for the validation part. And I just want to show people how cool my plants are. And I bet other people don't have as many or as nice plants as I do, which is, by the way, totally disillusioned. I mean, there's so many other creators, A, and B, so many other collectors that have better plant collections. I'll just leave it like that. As I got more into YouTube, it became much more about the creative process of coming up with ideas, writing scripts, editing, which is probably the biggest part, filming, and just learning new stuff as I went, because I had to learn everything from scratch basically. And now, after a while that I am semi-successful, if I dare say so, I mean, we're almost at 10,000 subscribers. I think we're gonna hit 10,000 this year, definitely. It's also nice that it is monetarily kind of interesting. I'm obviously not getting rich from this. Just from the YouTube AdSense, which is like 100 to maybe 400 euros a month. That's not enough to quit my job anyways. Although I did go part-time because I just wanted to spend more time for YouTube, because I feel like it's a little bit more fun, it's a little bit more free and creative, a little more fulfilling. Don't tell my bosses. Alternatively, just take this answer, okay? The goal with YouTube is to be able to work from home full-time, don't be tied to any specific workplace, and maybe just be able to live somewhere where I could actually afford to buy a home or something like that, and then work from there. Maybe with a garden. Oh, that would be so lovely, but you know how the situation is. Bleak. Maybe if I have enough subscribers one day, I can move to Japan, buy one of these abandoned houses, renovate it, and then work from there. That would be the dream. Pretty millennial basic, I know, but what can I say? Oops. Bah! Oh no. All done. What I also found is that YouTube is kind of really rewarding. Just the connection with my audience is also a big part of why I keep doing this. I don't know, it's a rush. I'm just saying, it's a rush. Next up, this little Cebu Blue cuttings and another question from 3 Dog Plants. Morning Leafy, hope all is well with you. I think so. What was the first plant you bought, and what plant, if any, have you been the most gutted about posting? This is not really a plant sales related question, but it came in late and I wanted to answer it. First, let's check out these roots. Ooh, beautiful. The first plant I bought was, I think, a money tree, nothing special. I wasn't really into the plant game. It was just decoration for my home, and it rotted away because I killed it by overwatering. I guess that's just the story of plant parents. And then the plant I would be most gutted if I lost. This has to be my Alocasia Frydek. Not only because it's my most expensive plant, but I just love this plant so much, and it's not even hard to take care of, so I would be really gutted if I would still manage to kill it somehow. Although by now I have multiples of it, so it wouldn't be such a big deal anymore. That's the beauty of propagation. You can create backup plants. Another tray of plants for my shop. Done. Now let's water all of these puppies a little bit, just to let the soil settle. Looking nice. Perfect. This is actually a big chunk of my to-do list. That's great. The only things left are these two. Hello. This is my Anthurium veitchii, which is a beautiful plant. But I have this plant for a long time and I still haven't really received those beautiful long rippled leaves that are just so beautiful. My only guess is maybe the soil should be exchanged or is not good enough for it. Maybe the pot is also not optimal because it's too porous. I don't want to propagate it, I just want big giant rippled leaves. That's all I want. Is that too much to ask for? And guys, I am prepared. I have the Cybotanica Anthurium mix just to give this plant the best shot at giving me those giant leaves. This is too big, right? Yeah. I think that is the appropriate size up. I haven't tried the Anthurium mix yet. Ooh. Check this out. I think I had some troubles with root rot with this plant, so I stuck it into this terracotta type pot with a very chunky mix. Well, I think it still has a little bit of root rot, so it's not great. Pretty firm. Okay, let's do the old trickaroo. Ah, beautiful. Can you see this? Let's pop it in. I don't want to bury it too deep. As a last step, I'm going to use sphagnum moss. I want to wrap the sphagnum moss around the stem because in my experience, Anthurium get off on that stuff. This is hands down the best moss I ever tried. I used to use some sort of reptile moss from Amazon and it was alright, it worked, but this stuff is beautiful compared to this Amazon stuff. It's just better. I'm sorry, it's just better. Okay. Can you see this? Just like all around moss. To finish it off, I'm just going to wrap it with cling film. This helps me to keep it moist since my room humidity is just not high enough and I don't have a greenhouse. You know what's funny? I actually never use cling film in the kitchen for cooking or storing away stuff. I only use it for plant stuff. It's kind of funny. Actually, this is the most tricky part. Finding a way to wrap this around properly. Not pretty, but very functional. Nah! Perfect. Gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Done. Just watering it a little bit, trying to also get the moss wet. I also wanted to say thank you for sending in your questions. It's just so much fun to answer them. I don't know, it's cool. Let's consult our list. Very well, I think we are done for the day. This means I can now clean all of this up and head over to my computer to put up all of these listings. As you know, I have a template for my descriptions I sell on eBay Kleinanzeigen. That's just a German selling and reselling website. They don't take a fee from my sales. So this is how the rest of my evening will look like, just putting up all the listings. I will see you next time. Until then, enjoy your plants and goodbye. Bye.